And the green flag is out. Apologies for a little bit of missing action, but you haven't missed any racing at all as we start the first lap here. And coming down into the first corner, Cigar Dewan has a big challenge from Leighton, who does get the inside away from him. Is he going to be able to lead lap one as we got a spin behind them? And I think that is Mark Rondeau who got sent off the track. It is Tom Leighton, your leader.
Yeah, but it looks like Cigar Dewan's problems aren't done here yet as AJ Roper tries to take a look around the outside of the 501. Not going to be able to get it play, but that's exactly what I was talking about, Joe. Elbows out aggression here early on.
As they now fly through triple, Cigar, is he going to miss out? Can he repass Tom Leighton or at least keep up with him? Or is this opportunity lost for him? Shinichi also loses a position. He's down to fourth as Roper has a good time on the first few corners trying to sneak into the top three. They head through chicane and onto the stadium straight now.
All right, now going to go through this very, very fast chicane section here, the right-left that they go through. Ooh, good braking there from Cigar Dewan, able to catch up but closer to the back of Tom Leighton.
Still staying right on the back of Leighton, and so is Shinichi on Roper as they come around to complete lap one. Although Shinichi was very shallow into the turn, he's going to lose a lot coming down the main straight. And it does look like Roper catches up to the back of Dewan as well. So top three still nose to tail.
Yeah, they're all on top of each other here at this point. Shinichi losing a little bit of time. He's got to get a good run here at this point to try to close it back in. He does not want to let them slip off into the distance here. He needs to keep himself involved in this fight.
As they come back into Hateful, it is 1, 2, 3, Leighton, Dewan, Roper. Shinichi does catch them back up. Michael Ost still sitting where he began in P5 as Gabe Zamora trails him in the sixth position. Great job to Michael Johnson. He is up 3 spots in just 2 laps.
Yeah, really impressive stuff there from Michael W. Johnson. You love to see it there for him to be able to gain up. Maybe he does have a little bit of personal knowledge on this circuit.
Could be. Certainly is looking like he is picking him up pretty quickly here. So as we come around onto the back stretch one more time, side-by-side action now between Zamora and Ost. He gets down to the inside through Shell, but he can't finish the job. Ost will fin him off. There's a little bit of contact between all 3 cars, and one goes off. That's Ost as Zamora is caught out. Johnson gets 2 with ease.
Yeah, it gets 2 with these, and that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning. Incident mitigation is going to be the best way to get around here on this circuit, but we've got a little bit of side-by-side farther back down in the field. That's going to be Shulem duking it out there with Zamora. BJ Fulton trying to pick up the pieces.
Wow, so big change around here in the mid-pack as this race has really come alive suddenly. Down into Hotel, switching to the inside. Shulem ahead of Zamora. Gabe down to 7th. Still actually up 1 position from where he started. Fulton trailing behind them, and look at the train kind of forming back there. That's also Parsons, Hollander, Bolton, Abrams.
Yeah, it's a big, long line of cars there, and they've got to be careful about that. If this battle continues on like this, we're certainly going to see the 2 of them get under more attack from the rest of the field.
Doesn't look like he's able to get around Shulem down out of triple, so he's going to remain safe for now. Looks like we have a replay of Rondeau's incident at the start. He still sits in last place in 16th. I think he had to take his spare car. And what happened here? Did he just, yeah, it looks like 3 wide into there, just didn't quite work, and he got tipped around.
Yeah, just a little bit of miscommunication, a little bit of a tight squeeze there. This is the incident that we saw with the 73 with Michael W. Johnson just holding in the background. As there you see, I think that was just a little bit of a tap there coming through the left-hander.
So that sends him backwards quite a ways. Still Leighton is your leader as we come back live. Dewan's behind him by 0.1 of a second, and he thought about it down in a Hotel, then backed it up.
Yeah, backed it up here. I like what I'm seeing out of Cigar. He's not pressing the advantage here too hard. He's just keeping nice and cautious, keeping the pressure on, and waiting for that perfect opportunity to strike.
Just behind him, Roper in the 07. Hard to miss that car with all the crazy colors that it's got on it. And then Shinichi hovering around in fourth. They've broken away from Michael Johnson by about 3 seconds because of the incident he was involved in. Almost a little bit innocently, I'd say, getting into the back of them as they checked up. So they come down into chicane once again. Going to be easy to cut that one a little too hard and get some slowdown penalties, so they do have to be careful through there.
Yeah, they do have to be very, very careful. If you get a slowdown, especially on this part of the circuit, that is going to be absolutely detrimental to your race. It's going to put you well down in the order. You do not want to have that to happen. So good for these drivers to be aware of it, keep on it, and make sure they're okay.
Into the final couple corners. I wondered whether or not Tom Layton would be able to run away with things, and it seems it's quite a bit of a no. Here goes Dewan again. Cigar with a fantastic run out of Zeppelin. Bit of a defense from Tom. Now they switch sides as Cigar is going to get the inside of the first corner. And then again, backs out of it. That's got to be a tricky one, I have to imagine, DJ, the way that it switches back and forth. I mean, which way is technically the inside?
I mean, you got to kind of pick a line and go with it. It's going to swap back and forth pretty much constantly. So you're going to be lucky one way or the other. You just got to kind of pick a way and figure out which way your car is going to be better.
Didn't work this time. Didn't feel like trying to risk it quite yet. Wonder if Cigar is just waiting before he pulls out the true aggressiveness. But he's definitely keeping the pressure onto that #1 machine up at the front of the fields. Haven't missed much else behind them. They spread apart after those couple early incidents, but Johnson and Schulem are both up 5 positions. So is Matt Hollander. There have been some big movers. They've got some work to do here and plenty of time left. Still 23 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time here, but Joe, the thing about this circuit is that it can kind of lure you into almost a false sense of security as you go. It is always constantly trying to bite you. And so for these drivers, you've got to be very, very careful around here. That one little errant mistake could spell absolute disaster, as we've seen earlier on.
For Layton, this is a good opportunity here. Shinichi and he are tied. If Andrew stays back in fourth, that'll put him squarely into the points lead. But boy, it's just looking tough to hold on to that top spot as Cigar Dewan once again is poking and prodding, this time into Hateful.
Not exactly what I would expect there is a move. I mean, that circuit just, it seems a little bit too narrow there, but I think I like the aggressiveness here from Cigar, just trying to find any sort of opportunity to get by, but he's got to be careful. Roper's keeping him honest, and Shinichi's right in this battle as well.
Shinichi taking a big look out of triple and couldn't quite pull it off, so he's going to have to back out of it. I think Cigar just got a really good run out of Hotel, and that's what allowed him to try and make that charge into the hairpin there. But he has backed off now, and he's given a little bit more breathing space to Tom Layton. But Roper, like you said, just does not have that same nicety behind him. Andrew Shinichi has been really poking and prodding. He wants back onto the podium.
Yeah, he really, really does. He is not happy about losing out here at this point, so he is going to be pushing as hard as he can. And there you even see a little bit of a jink to the outside there from Cigar Dewan. I'm not sure if that was maybe trying to break the draft, maybe just trying to stick in the draft there of Tom Layton, but a little bit of jitteriness coming down that main straightaway.
But he's very strong into here. In fact, he almost gets to the inside, and so does Shinichi. Both of them kind of taking a look, but can't make it stick. Shinichi's much stronger, though, off the corner as he forces Roper to go defensive. Down into Hateful once again, and a great launch off the corner by Cigar Dewan. He squared that off beautifully, almost has the inside, but once again, Tom Layton is wise to it, and he blocks the inside line.
Yeah, this is a defensive driving masterclass here at this point from Tom Layton. He knows the primary overtaking opportunities. He knows where Cigar is going to try to make that run, and he's just positioning the car in a way that is preventing any of that from happening. And so what that's going to force Cigar to do here at this point is get creative. Send a move like we saw down into Hateful. Send a move where he doesn't expect it.
I think all 4 of them just made contact coming into that long right-hander. It's basically a traffic jam down there as everybody is bumper to bumper when they're getting onto the binders as Shinichi goes off into the gravel. Not sure what caused that, but he is losing a position because there goes Michael Johnson into fourth.
That was a little bit strange there, Joe, and I'm not sure if that was just some inherent understeer that he picked up, but he just kind of speared off the track. But I'll tell you what the big thing is here up at the front of the field, that's put AJ Roper out of this battle. He's now 1.3 seconds behind Cigar Dewan.
Oof, he might have lost a little bit of slipstream here, so he needs the pace at this point to try and catch up. Are we going to see another opportunity for Cigar? He's very good off of that hairpin. Just, it's not long enough of a straight, it feels like.
No, it's really not, and that's what you've got to try to overcome when you're running on a circuit like this. It's not easy to get any of that done. It's not easy at all, and so you've got to kind of be creative about it.
Let's see what sent Andrew Chinichi off course. He was close to battling with Roper. Did they get together here? Ooh, very good exit. Side by side. And hard to tell from that angle if they actually touched or not, but he was off the racing line.
Was off the racing line. It looked like there was a little bit of body movement there. This should do it. Yeah, I think he did there, Joe. I certainly think he did.
It was a very light touch. I think that's still fair racing between them. But, yeah, this will really tell us here.
Yep.
Yeah. So just the tiny, tiny little contact. And unfortunately for Andrew, he paid a pretty steep price for it. Yeah,
really and truly did. He's the one that really came off the worst for Roper. Not doing great either. As Hollander, Heindel, and Thiel all off.
3 cars with problems coming out of Zeppelin. They're going to all be able to get going. Thankfully, we do still have all 16 cars running here. But suddenly into this race, things have gotten quite exciting and not the way that these drivers would have wanted.
No, I certainly don't think so. And this looks like it's got the hallmarks here of a big old coming together. 1, 2, 3, everybody getting involved.
Just tripping over each other. Not enough room to try and react, and they all kind of made the tiniest little of touches, and it sends everybody around it at least once, except I think, was it Abrams? Yeah, Abrams, I think, got away with it.
Yeah, I think Abrams was able to avoid it there, but he did lose a fair amount of time having to kind of slow up as a result of that. But here comes Chinichi on the back of Michael Johnson. Is Andrew going to have a little bit of a look here on the number 9?
Current reigning champion trying to defend on Andrew Chinichi, one of the tied leaders in the points currently, as they come down into the braking for the final turn out of Zeppelin. As they glance that inside curve, both try and get onto the power, but it does look like Johnson is going to pull away.
Yeah, he just barely got that advantage that he needed here at this point and is going to be able to hold that out here for the moment. It'll give him a little bit of breathing room around this circuit, but Chinichi not letting him slip on it, and Chinichi goes around.
A little too ambitious, and he comes back across the track just in time for Zamora and Shulam to avoid him, but that had to have given them quite a scare.
Yeah, very, very much so. That is a big-time heart-in-mouth moment there if you are either of them. They're going to be thanking their lucky stars that they didn't have a bigger problem.
Is that Abrams? That's Abrams. Completely off at Hotel, which has caught out more drivers than I expected today. But it is a bit of a difficult braking zone, and it's proven to be just a bit too much for many drivers.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here, figure out exactly what happened with Chinichi. I think this is an issue. Was there a little bit of contact there again, or was that just an issue where he maybe locked up the rears?
I wonder if we could get it above view, because I think he just touched the back of him, and he was braking super hard into the corner. I've noticed a couple drivers make this attempt too, that they, with everybody kind of swinging out wide in the second part to diamond it off, that I think they're, goodness, that was close. I think they're opening the door just enough that it's tempting folks into it.
Yeah, I think that's probably right there. That just some of the way you've got to take these lines as we take a look there at Abrams is off. The way you've got to take these lines, later apexes through the corners means that it looks like there's a hole to be able to poke your nose into, and ultimately there isn't.
Well, we haven't seen much of Dewan on Leighton, both because we haven't shown him on screen, but every time I've looked back here when the cameras weren't on them, it doesn't seem like he's been trying anything more. So Tom's got himself finally a little bit of relief up at the front of the field. Question is, how long will it last? Because once again, look at that braking, much stronger down into the corners is the 501.
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, Cigar seems to have this figured out in terms of the braking zones here, in terms of how to get that right. It's just a matter of Leighton being able to stretch out a little bit better coming off of the corners, and I think that's keeping him at bay.
It's going to be a difficult one. I'm not sure that Cigar has as easy of a time as it might seem trying to take that lead back and get the win away from him. He's going to have to get creative and might have to get a little bit forceful to try and take it away from the former champion. As they come back onto the main straight, another pretty good run, but I don't think it's good enough.
No, not quite good enough. The gap's only about 0.3 of a second here as they come down into the corner, and Cigar's not going to poke his nose down into the inside. Doesn't want to lose that time by being aggressive.
And knows he's still got half the race left to go. Credit to Roper. I don't think he's fallen off anymore. We keep seeing flashes of him on the screen. He's only about 2 seconds back from Cigar. So still very much in it, especially if these two start battling with one another.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. And that's going to be something that's probably playing into the thought process here of Cigar Dewan. He doesn't want to get two elbows out here with Leighton because he doesn't want to add Roper back into this equation.
Shinichi's on his struggle back forwards, and he's side by side with Bolton right now. This is for 8th position, and he's going to eventually get the job done. Next on his list is right ahead. That's BJ Fulton.
All right, so there he goes, just slowly but surely working his way back up through the order here at this point. It's so hard, Joe, when you make those mistakes, when you make, frankly, more than one of those mistakes, and you've got to kind of re-get yourself back into position, get everything back around. I've got to give credit here to Shinichi. He's doing a very hard task here today.
Yeah, at a track where it's so hard to pass on top of things, probably at least a little flustered under the helmet, I imagine. He's very quickly made up the time on Fulton, and quick enough that he's going to make an aggressive dive down into Zeppelin and make it stick. That slows down BJ, and Bolton says, this is a good opportunity for me as well.
Yeah, he's going to take that look, but the 82 not going to make it easy for him. Here they go. We've got a little bit of side-by-side. Bolton and Fulton coming down into the corner, trying to figure it out here as they go. They're still not sorted.
Way around to the outside, but too far and into the gray, loses grip, and Bolton's not going to be able to get it done. So BJ will at least hold on to 8th, but Shinichi is passed and up into 7th. It's about 3.5 seconds to Zamora up next.
All right, so he is going to have a lot of work to do here, and with 12 minutes left to go in this race, not sure how much he's going to be able to close in on the back of Zamora. Looking at the lap times here, Shinichi's best time is a 1:24 flat. Zamora's is a 1:24.8. That may be just enough to get it to go.
This now becomes one of our closest battles here between BJ and Michael for this 8th position as they fly out of chicane onto the back stretch, but looks like Bolton struggled a little bit there as he loses a few car lengths, and now it stretches up to 0.8.
Yeah, so he's going to get that gap a little bit more, and that just goes to show you there, I think, BJ definitely getting held back a little bit by Bolton going down through the corners, as now he's been able to stretch his leg in front and really show his true pace.
Yeah, so that winded up being a very good thing for BJ there to be able to fend off Michael, because if he had gotten by, then he may have been slowed down all that much more. At least he's got the clear air, even if Andrew did manage to overtake. Oh, but he doesn't have the racing line, as he absolutely has to take through the runoff to try and save the car. There sneaks through Bolton.
And there you go, one little errant mistake, and he's right back to where he was, and he's got to try this all over again. That is what this track is all about, incident mitigation. I said it at the top, I'll say it again.
Those sausage curbs down in a hotel are just brutal. You clip one, and, well, you're going to be sent flying. So Bolton knew that he could not sit around, and as soon as that opened up, he snuck down the inside of that sliding gray car. That moves him into 8th. Let's see what he can do from here. He's up 4 from where he started. Boy, he took a lot of that chicane, but that looks like it was legal, as he does not have a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's picked up anything here at this point, so that'll be good running there for him. Let's see, though, if he's going to be able to get anything more. Now Bolton just going to try to streak away here as much as possible, see if he can maybe get a little bit of a gap. That's what he's going to be hoping for. Just buy himself a little bit of time here, I think, as we check back in on the front of the field.
Yeah, Dewan's still stuck in second, and he hasn't lost much time to Leighton, but Roper's closed it in a little bit. It's down to actually within a second now between P2 and P3. Cigar probably at least want to try and salvage a second place here, as he did so at the opening round of the season, but currently having to work hard after it looked like at the start he was quite quick and looked like he was faster than Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly thought he was, but it just goes to show you that relentless pace here of Tom Leighton. And I mean that by the relentless pace because it's not about one lap pace for Leighton. We've seen him get beaten in qualifying. It's being able to be up within 100th of a second of your best lap, time in and time out, lap after lap after lap.
Absolutely. So as he carries on, wonder if maybe just been managing those tires a little bit here and trying to make sure that they're good by the end of the race, and it's starting to come into form, especially now that he's got the clear air. We have to remember, GT3 spec cars, a lot of downforce on these machines, so being in the dirty air probably abuses that rubber significantly more.
Yeah, it very, very much does. I mean, we don't necessarily talk nearly as much about the GT3 aero wash, but it's pretty significant, especially in these new GT3Rs, the 992 body here for these new Porsches. There's a lot of aerodynamic disturbance that comes off of the back of the car, and that means that the front end not able to grip, sliding over the track a little bit more, and that just is a one-way ticket, as you said, to bad tire wear.
Yeah, keeping Cigar just far enough behind at about 6/10. Roper lost a little bit that last lap through. In fact, he must have had some sort of slowdown penalty because that last lap did not count for him. So that's interesting. Seeing that Marc Rondeau has a meatball flag, he must have had some sort of major accident.
Yeah, not sure there what happened to him. Both he and Hollander are down in pit lane at the moment, getting repairs. Hollander's been down there for about a minute and a half here at this point, so very, very much so a problem there for both.
Unable to find it for Rondeau. He had an off in the chicane, found the tire barrier, unfortunately, and so that's why he had to come down and take repairs. He did drive it back, though, so it was able to roll under its own power. Just unfortunate that he's going to have to give it a lot of time before they will allow him back onto the track and have that meatball flag taken away. Meanwhile, Tom Leighton and Cigar Dewan stuck at about 7 to 8/10 away from one another. This has got to be getting frustrating, especially if you're Dewan.
Well, and let's not forget, even under the best conditions here at this point, it's certainly, you're going to be dealing with just more tire wear, so there's not going to be as much grip to be had on the circuit, even if you weren't going around in the dirty air. So he's going to be running out of opportunities here to be able to get his way on by and to be able to maximize the lap times.
This track tends to see touring cars as well as lower level open wheelers compete around here, but GT3 should feel relatively at home. It's about the right size track for them. As we said, it's close to a minute and a half lap time, but it's still very, very twisty. And it seems like Tom is using that to his advantage, knowing that he has that track position. All he has to do is run a clean and fast line.
Yeah, and about 6 minutes left to do it, but here comes Cigar getting a little bit more aggressive. Do you see that line coming down into Zeppelin? He took it a little bit harsher. I think maybe this could be a situation where Cigar was holding back on the tires a little bit, keeping him in check, and now he's back into attack mode.
Yeah, he's only got 5 minutes left, so, I mean, there's nothing left to save him for. Use him up now, as that was Corey Thiel, who was off track, and then Marc Rondeau, who was exiting pit lane. Both of them are going to be able to get going here. But, yeah, suddenly Dewan comes alive, spinning multiple laps a little bit farther back. I think you're right that it looks like he was just cooling them down a little bit. Now he is on the charge. Does he have enough underneath him as off course goes Ost?
Yeah, and that looks like another issue coming out of Zeppelin. I wonder there, Joe, if he maybe just ran a little bit wide, picked up some gravel on the edge of the corner. We focus back in on the battle for the lead, though, here at this point. Cigar's got that gap down to 0.3 of a second. He's on the charge.
Through chicane, this is going to be an important corner onto the stadium straight. It looks decent. It's still about 0.3 of a second, but you have to be so close coming into Shell Corner. It's just not enough of a braking zone into that right-hander. Even still, he is making sure he fills the mirrors of that number one machine as they come down to the last two corners. It's been somewhat of a case of who's strong off of Zeppelin, and at times we've seen Cigar be phenomenal off there. Doesn't look like we could describe it that way this time, but he is staying close.
No, it looked like the car just couldn't get the power down quite as much as he would want to, but as long as he's within 3.5 of a second, this is the prime opportunity to strike. Going to take a little bit of a wider line. I actually think that may have been a little bit of a mistake there from Cigar, just carrying a little bit too much speed into the corner, and the gap's grown up by about 1/10 of a second.
So that helps out Tom Layton, but they still have a number of laps to go here, probably about still 4 left, it seems, for these drivers to be done with this third round of the season. Still so early, and yet, as we've seen, early points leads can be very important, especially just scoring consistently up on the podium. As Tom Layton found out last season, losing the championship due to lack of attendance and just having a poor end to the season. And Michael Johnson stole it away from him. Speaking of which, Michael's still sitting in 4th, but both he and Shulam are up 6 right now. So they've had a better day comparative to their qualifying, but I wouldn't call it a great day for either of them.
No, but they'll still be able to walk home with some semi-decent points, so that'll be good news there for them. Let's see here, coming down into Zeppelin, a little bit of a wider line, almost going down into pit entry there. Oh, but Cigar just couldn't get the power down right, picked up a little bit of oversteer coming off the corner, and that's going to cost him big time.
Yeah, unless he really has much more pace than Tom Layton. I think that might have been race over, because as they cross, I think that is 3 to go, and Dewan has to make up 1.2 to 1.3 seconds to Tom Layton now. He's going to need to be somewhere in the realm of 4 to 5 tenths faster now.
Yeah, he's really going to have to push here at this point, and I just haven't seen the outright pace that he definitely is wanting to be able to get here as they go. We're going to check a little bit of a look farther back in the field. Shulam leading Zamora, leading Chinichi.
Yeah, Chinichi's still on a recovery, and even if he does pass both of these cars, he'll still be a net loss from where he began this race. He was in 3rd at the beginning. Right now, he's only in 7th. Zamora is not playing a huge defense, but he doesn't seem to have to right now. Even with Chinichi climbing all over his rear wing, he's got no place to go.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He's just using the track to his advantage here at this point. You know, just kind of letting everything work into his own hands, letting the narrowness and the trickiness of the circuit play out.
Indeed, although I wonder if he gets a good exit coming out of Zeppelin, if Chinichi's going to have a good enough chance to try and make it side by side with Gabe and force the issue. But last time he went into hotel and tried to make a pass, it did not end well for him. So let's see as they exit Zeppelin. Shulam's just in front. He would love them to battle, because that would certainly put them a little bit farther away in these final few laps as they approach the first corner. That doesn't look close enough to me for Andrew.
No, I don't think it's quite close enough there at that point. He's still going to have to try a little bit more. About a minute left on the clock here at this point. Our leaders are working their way down through the middle half of the circuit.
Yep, so they're going to get the 1 to go, I think, next time by. There's a big look, though, from Zamora. He's not just playing defense, he's on the attack, and Shulam is having to play his own little bit of defense here, as that was a bobble from Chinichi. He relieves the pressure on Zamora. Is that going to be something that allows him to attack and take this 6th place or 5th place away? Not this time.
Oh, and look at that closing distance there from Chinichi coming down through the corner, just able to manage the brakes way, way better before they hit chicane. Now they're going to roll their way out right now. Chinichi taking a little bit of a wider line. I think he may have had to back off the throttle ever so slightly.
It's a pretty good exit there from Zamora, but it's not quite enough. and he is going to have to save it for later. But again, we come to the last of the lap as the white flag is now out for Tom Layton, and he takes it down into Hotel. He's still got 1.6 seconds over Cigar Dewan. What's going to happen in this battle for fifth, though, as actually Chinichi had a big look up the inside of Gabe down into the final turn.
Yeah, big look down up at the inside, but not going to play out here at this point. White flag is in the air for your leaders. This is the final time to get it done.
Top five is on the cards here between them once again. Liking that gap opening up, Chinichi tries to get inside through Hotel, but just cannot find the grip as they come back, switching the other way around, down through Hateful. They stay line astern.
No real change here at this point. Now into the left-hander. You saw there a little bit of a flick for Zamora, just trying to take a little bit more speed through the corner. Now down into Hotel, not seeing anything play.
Will desperation rule the day? Will someone make an ill-advised move here? What's this going to be come the end of the race? They only have a couple more corners to go, but Tom Layton, who wants to make it his second win on the season, in fact, back-to-back here as he exits Zeppelin. Indeed, Tom Layton comes back with aplomb and is his third straight podium, but his second win.
Good job there for Layton being able to hold off that attack. We check back in on the battle with Shulam, Zamora, and Chinichi. Final corner moves.
Contact between Zamora and Shulam, and almost an opportunity for Chinichi. He switches back, and so does Zamora as he gets to the inside. They're going to be three wide down to the line. It is a drag race. Oh, and they come together, but it goes to Chinichi in the end as he steals a fifth place right at the end.
My goodness gracious there, and Zamora coming out the worst for wear in sixth place, and then Shulam back down in seventh.
Unbelievable finish between the three of them. We definitely are going to need a replay of that one. This all started into Shell in Amman when there was an opportunity. As you see the drivers finishing up their race, a little bit of celebration there for Mike Parsons as he wraps it up. But this was multiple corners of battling, and it did come to tears between them. But watch this down the stadium straight as it starts to open up. And I think this is actually Zamora trying it on Shulam initially.
I think it may be as well. Let's take a look here. There's the look down to the inside for Zamora. Tries to get it, looks for the crossover, doesn't play, wiggle off the line there. Chinichi going to be able to hold it together. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as you called in the moment, Joe. Chinichi finds himself back. Now here comes the real question. Shulam able to carry speed around the outside. Now it's going to be side by side. Let's see here. It was Chinichi and Zamora. Chinichi got into the side of him.
Almost looked like Zamora, at least from that back angle, kind of steered into him. That'll be a hard one. I hope there's no penalties because I'd hate to see that exciting finish have to change around after that. But this was a good one, certainly, for Tom Layton taking the win today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. The first time that the POC has raced here certainly was an exciting one, and Tom Layton took the win. He didn't get the pole position. He came within 9,000ths of a second, and he showed that he not only has the pace to try and challenge Cigar here, but he challenged him down into turn one and never relinquished the lead after that. Cigar still kept him honest as he was within a second all the way to the finish. And then AJ Roper wound up third up there at the top, beating out Shinichi, who we'll talk about in a moment. Michael Johnson snatched up the fourth position. Andrew, who had some mistakes in there, slipped up twice and wound up well down the order, fought his way back, and in a three-wide wreck across the finish line, he claimed fifth over Gabe Zamora and Jeffrey Shulam, who he was side by side with. Michael Bolton finished P8 behind them, and then you've got BJ Fulton in ninth and Mike Parsons rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it was Jacob Abrams, who was able to move up 2 positions on the day. Michael Ost, unfortunately, down 7 into 12th. Then Dustin Heindel, the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Mark Rondeau, 2 laps down, as was Corey Thiel. Matt Hollander, 8 laps down.
That's going to take us to our winner, Tom Layton, who, as we said, pretty much decided this race for himself into the first corner. They say you can't win it in the first corner, but you could certainly lose it. And Tom flipped that on its head today. Tom, incredible start. Do you think that was decisive in you coming home with the win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking at qualifying and how I felt during the race, I think Cigar had a little bit of pace on me. I mean, he was just there the whole time, and I just thankfully I kind of saw that window at the start, and I was able to get by, and then it was kind of just like it felt like just having the lead at Monaco and just making the car wide and just kind of avoiding mistakes for the whole time. Man, I'm sweating.
It certainly looked tense, but it looked like it was more the first half of the race where he kept trying to challenge you, and the second half fell away a little bit. Do you think the aero on these cars is making it hard for him to keep up in that sense? Do you think maybe the tires gave way on him?
Yeah, I don't know if his tire temps they increased, or if maybe he saw that like he was just gonna have to try like a really high risk move that maybe he didn't want to make. So I don't know. I don't know if we like kind of just got into a rhythm with each other, or maybe if like my pace improved and his fell off a little bit. It's really hard to tell.
And finally, what do you think of Oschersleben? It's not a track that we see show up a lot on iRacing, so I'm curious about your thoughts.
Yeah, I drove this course back in Project Cars 2, and I like it for a small car like a Miata, or like, Formula Fords would be excellent here. But for a GT3 car, it's just not that type of track. It's too hard to pass. Like the straightaways are not long enough for the draft to do anything. Like I'm just not a huge fan. I mean, it's a technical track. It's kind of fun to drive, but not in this car.
That's understandable. Regardless, congratulations on the win. That's back to back.
Hey, thanks. And yeah, I'd just like to thank my wife and thank my sponsors, FR Sport.
Tom Layton, your winner here today, as DJ has caught up with the man that couldn't quite make it past him, Cigar Dewan.
Indeed, Cigar, a great run there out for you. Pole position, pipped in the first corner, though, and it looked like you just didn't have enough to be able to keep up with Tom there.
Yeah, that was a great race. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, this track, turn one's a left-hander and turn two is a fast left-hander and turn two is a really tight right-hander. And so the car on the outside just has an advantage going in. In all the practice races, I started on pole and I, came out of turn two in second place. So I kind of knew that was going to happen. And actually, I honestly, for the first time ever, I think I had more pace than Tom. Um, I yeah, I felt like I could have been running, half a second faster, but I just couldn't get by. I think you need a lot more pace advantage to actually make a pass around this track. It was just so tight, and there were a couple times where I was like, maybe I could just throw one in there, but I was like, this is the race leader, and it's probably in both our best interest to like not crash. So I decided to just hang back a bit.
Well, I mean, certainly did present a great race here for us. It looked like about halfway through the race, you were kind of holding back a little bit and then kind of went for an attack there at the end. Were we right about that? Were you maybe cooling the tires down a little bit?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was cooling the tires off. And then I was chatting with the other drivers on Discord, and I made a mistake, and that was right at the end, and so the tires needed another couple laps to come back. But I did do exactly that in the middle of the race. I did back off, just hung back a little bit, didn't use as much tire in the turns, and a couple laps later I was able to attack more. But it was just almost impossible to get by on this track.
Yeah, it seemed like a really, really tough one out there for you. Do you think you're going to have a little bit more luck, a little bit more something for Tom in the next couple of rounds?
Hey, I'll try. Pole position was a very pleasant surprise, and so yeah, hopefully I can keep that up.
All right, Cigar. Well, we wish you the best luck in the world, my friend. Who'd you like to thank for today?
Hey, as usual, I'd like to thank my wife. She's holding off on dinner till I'm done with this. So, yep.
All right, well, fantastic. Cigar Dewan, a great drive here today. P2 on your field, Joe.
And that's going to take us to AJ Roper, who finishes third today, racking up some good points, his second podium of the season. AJ, it looked like you also were able to pull the jump on Andrew Chinichi. Was it hard to hold him back until that mistake in the middle of the race from him?
Yeah, it definitely was. He was certainly pressuring me the whole time. I feel awful about what happened there. I checked the replay. It almost looked like a little bit of net code, but I figured if I just held the inside double right-hand turns, I should be okay, but that's awful to see happen.
Yeah, nobody ever wants that to be the outcome of hard, close racing, but sometimes that's just the nature of the beast. It looks like you've been on quite the upswing of form lately. What do you mostly attribute yourself to be fighting for these podiums and great finishes?
I really can't say. Just trying my best and trying to keep smooth. I tend to overdrive quite frequently, and so just kind of backing up corners and trying to be as smooth as I can, not overheat and use the ABS and all that stuff too much.
Well, this was a very technical track, and next one out at Zandvoort's going to be much the same. Do you anticipate you could follow it up with your third podium in a row?
That would be fantastic. I certainly hope so. I was just glad to see first and second Tom and Cigar there in the distance. So I'm quite pleased. I didn't see this track before today, and so the next one I hope is a little better, but I'm sure everybody's going to pick up some pace there too.
Well, that's a great first go at this track then. Congratulations, AJ.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate all your efforts here, guys. You do a fantastic job. Really make it fun to watch afterwards as well, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Arnold Roper there in the 07, taking home a podium in third today. And that's going to wrap us up. So big thank you to our sponsors once again, which includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Game Changer Wealth, helping you become a game changer with wealth. Contact them today at GameChangerBR.com or 225-664-2565. Thanks to the team today, GJ, Zach, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, our website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. Like we said, the next race will be all the way over to the Netherlands with Zandvoort, Monday, August 7th at 11 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check out our other broadcasts listed here in the meantime. And until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.